Station, this is Houston. Are you ready for the event?
I am ready for the event.
Henning School District, this is Mission Control Houston. Please call station for a voice check.
Station, this is Dana Dam with the Henning School District. How do you hear me?
Henning, Minnesota, I hear you loud and clear. Welcome to the International Space Station.
Hello, Karen. For the past few years, you have been the subject of our thoughts, of our prayers, of our questions, most importantly, our lesson plans, and our inspiration and admiration. Thank you for taking time aboard the ISS to continue to inspire and teach members of your hometown, of your school, of our student body. We have some questions for you today, if that's all right with you.
Absolutely. It's my pleasure to be able to do this with you guys today. Excuse me. A special hello to my mom and dad, too.
Okay, go.
Hello, my name is Taden Soma. I'm in kindergarten. My question is, what does space look like from the space station?
Well, we are only 250 miles above the surface of the Earth, so believe it or not, space doesn't look all that different from here than it does from Earth. The difference is that when you guys look into space, you have to look through Earth's atmosphere, and we don't have that to look through. So it can look very, very dark, a lot darker probably than you see it. And the stars, you know how the stars kind of twinkle when you look at them? Here, they're very solid. And also the aurora, the northern lights, I don't know if you've ever seen those, but when we look at those, they're beautiful, and we see them along the surface of the Earth. So it's very similar to what you see from the Earth, just a little more intense.
Go ahead.
Hello, my name is Carter Kenyon. I am in second grade. My question is, does being in space with no gravity feel like floating in water?
That's a very keen observation. It actually does in a lot of ways. In fact, we use water to train for spacewalks because what we can do, I don't know if you've noticed when you wear a life jacket, you float. If you tie a rock to you, you would sink. Well, we have something called neutral buoyancy, where if you have an equal amount of that, you will just kind of float in the water without moving, and that's very similar to what it is. So we use that, a big pool, to train for spacewalks so we can feel what it's like to move around without gravity.
Hello, my name is Melody Justice, and I am in third grade. My question is, how old were you when you decided to be an astronaut?
Well, if you're in the third grade, I probably was about your age when I decided. I was very young, and I was probably going to school, sitting in the same classrooms that you are right now.
Hello, my name is Chloe Winters, and I am in fifth grade. My question is, what is your favorite thing to do aboard the space station?
Well, there are a lot of really cool things to do here. Looking out the window is, of course, one of the best. But what I also like to do, I like zipping around. You can get moving pretty fast. We have handrails on all the walls here, and you can hold on with your feet or just push off with your hands. And I like zipping around corners and flipping upside down, because sometimes what you're doing, the floor is actually what would seem like the floor, and sometimes the floor can be one of the walls. And so it's fun to just kind of zip around corners and change your orientation and just float all over the place. It's a lot of fun.
Hello, my name is Tani Killinan, and I am in ninth grade. My question is it difficult being a female astronaut?
Well, that's interesting. I know there are a lot of difficulties in being an astronaut no matter who you are, and I haven't noticed a lot different with the challenges that I face as being an astronaut as my male colleagues. But not having been a male astronaut myself, of course, I can't compare. But the difficulties that I've run into and the challenges I've had are very similar to what everybody else goes through.
Hello, my name is Christy Fink, and my question to you, Karen, is, does it take your body a long time to get back to normal when you return to Earth?
Hi there, Christy. Actually, it does. Our bodies are very, very smart, and they will adapt to whatever situation they're in. And up here in space without gravity, our bodies don't really need our bones, and they don't need our muscles all that much because we're not walking around all the time. So without the exercise we do every day, our bones and our muscles would degrade very, very fast. And so we exercise about 2 hours every day. We do resistive training and also cardiovascular training. And so hopefully that will mitigate some of the problems when we return to Earth. But even with that, our bodies are just not used to that gravity. And also our vestibular systems, we get very used to the lack of gravity, and the gravity plays a big role in the way your inner ears are working and all of that. And so it takes a long time, and there's quite a transition period. I've heard, like people that are runners, it can take up to 4 or 5 months before you're out running like you used to.
Hi, my name is Isabel Godding. I am in kindergarten. How do you like being in space?
I absolutely love being in space, and I think you would like it too. Like I said before, floating around and zipping around as fast as you can without gravity and doing the flips, it is really a lot of fun. It's something that I really wish everybody could experience at least one time in their life.
Hello, my name is Rand Hula, and I am in second grade. My question is, what is the closest thing you have seen looking out the ISS window?
I've actually seen a lot of cool things. I've liked looking at the aurora that I mentioned, which is like the northern lights and the southern lights. But one thing I've noticed, the coolest thing, this has been a big geography lesson for me. I'll go out the window and look and take pictures, and a lot of times I can't tell exactly where I am, and I have to go to a map and I look at it, and I recognize the names of countries that I learned when I was in school. And now I can go out and look out the window, and just by looking at the landscape and the colors of the earth and the shapes of the coastlines, I can tell where we are. And so it's really a really, really good geography lesson.
My name is Liam Despard. I am in third grade. My question is it cold in space?
Well, the vacuum of space outside of the space station, it can be very cold, and it also can be very hot. And it depends on where the sun is. If we're in the shade or in the sun, it can vary about 500 degrees Fahrenheit, whether you're shaded by the space station or or the sun is on the other side of the Earth. And so when we do spacewalks, that's why we wear those big, white, bulky suits, not only to provide our air, but to also keep our body temperature as close to constant as possible. Now, here inside the space station, it's room temperature. It's just like it is in the school there.
Hello, my name is Ethan Halselig, and I'm in 5th grade. My question is, how is the research going at the International Space Station?
Our research is going very well. We have, at any one time, about 150 different experiments going on. A lot of them we as astronauts are involved in personally, and a lot of them we're not. Some of them we just hook up experiments in some of these racks that you see on the walls here, and then they're completely controlled by the ground. Some of the experiments we do on ourselves, and so there's a lot going on, and it's all going very well, and I think the scientists that are on Earth are learning a lot and pretty excited about what they're learning.
Hi, my name is Ashley Rasmussen, and I am in 9th grade, and my question is, do you use robotics in the space station?
We absolutely do. In fact, we just used our robotic arm that's on the outside of the space station yesterday. We had a cargo vehicle that brought us some supplies and some food and some other things a couple weeks ago, and we used the robotic arm to reach out and grab it after it had come close to the space station. Well, yesterday we actually released it. And that robotic arm was also used in building the space station. The space shuttle also had a robotic arm, and we would bring up all of these huge modules of the space station in the space shuttle and use those two robotic arms to link all the pieces of the space station together.
Hello, my name is Destiny Sino, and I am in 3rd grade. My question is, what teacher influenced you the most to make your decision to become an astronaut?
Well, I've certainly had a lot of fantastic teachers through elementary school, high school, and college. I don't know if I can pinpoint just one. I know that the teachers that demanded the most of me and expected the most of me are generally the ones that probably could be credited for helping me make the choices that I made. I think it's a lot of teachers, and a lot of them at the Henning School District did that. They made sure that they expected the most out of all of their students, and if you weren't performing as well as they knew you could, they tried to make you perform better. And I think that definitely helped me to become what I am and actually make it in the career that I chose.
Hello, my name is Megan Rineker, and I am in the 5th grade. My question is, what types of food do you eat aboard the space station?
We actually have a huge variety of food, and I have a couple examples. A lot of our food is packed in pouches like this. This happens to be one of my favorites. It's red beans and rice. I like it because it's spicy. And we also have a lot of our meats are packed like this. We have everything from steak to pork chops to fajitas. And a lot of our fruit is packed like this as well. We only get fresh fruit every so often when a vehicle comes up. We also have a lot of food that's like this, and this is dehydrated, meaning we need to add water to it to hydrate it. This is another one of my favorites. It's creamed spinach. It doesn't necessarily sound tasty, but it is very, very tasty. And we also, our drinks, we have a lot of different drinks, and we have those in pouches all over everything from coffee to water. We drink in a pouch like this. This happens to be an orange mango drink. So we have a lot of food to choose from, and a lot of variety.
Hello, my name is Mackenzie Vorderbruggen, and I am in 9th grade. My question is, what does it feel like when you lift off from Earth?
It's actually an incredible feeling. I've been fortunate enough now to ride on 2 different rockets. I flew on the space shuttle back in 2008, and now the Soyuz rocket just earlier in the year. And the space shuttle's a lot bigger than the Soyuz, but they're very similar in how they feel. Usually the engines start a few seconds before you actually lift off the pad, and you can feel the vibration. You can tell that the vehicle's alive and fluid is pumping. And then once you go, it's boom, and you start feeling the gravity pull, the G's pulling as you're going faster and faster, and you feel really, really heavy in your seat. And then at a certain point, once one of the engines has used all of its fuel, that portion of the rocket will separate, and then you feel like this, almost like you're going over a roller coaster, the top of a roller coaster for a second, and then you start feeling very heavy again. And it's quite an experience. And again, it's another one of those that I wish everybody could experience.
Hello, Karen. My name is Marjorie Quam, and I was one of your former English teachers. My question is, how is what you are currently doing on this mission going to impact life on Earth?
Hi, Mrs. Quammen. You were one of those who definitely expected the most out of everybody, so thank you. A lot of the stuff we do, a lot of the research we do, one of the things about doing the research here in space is that gravity is a very, very strong component of how things work when we're on Earth. Like you look at a fluid, we're doing some experiments with fluids that have little particles in them. Well, when you're on Earth, these particles are affected so much by gravity that it's hard to tell what's happening, how they're interacting with each other. So when you do the experiments here on the space station, you can look at how they interact with each other and how they interact with the fluid, and then you can optimize the way that they work on the ground. And a lot of that work, like stabilizers for some of your household products, shampoos and laundry detergents and things like that. So that's one of the big things that how, doing this research we do here can benefit and be used on the Earth. And another big thing is the human research. One example of that is here on the space station, I talked about using your bones and muscles and losing them. We lose bone mass at a rate 10 times higher than an elderly woman with osteoporosis. So this is the perfect place for us to study what kind of measures we can take to mitigate bone loss. And hopefully some of the research we do then can be used for folks on the Earth who are suffering with osteoporosis.
Hello, my name is Jenna Folkman, and I am in 3rd grade. My question is, are shooting stars prettier in space than they are on Earth?
Well, the interesting thing about shooting stars is when we see them below us, because a shooting star is actually a meteor that's coming through the Earth's atmosphere, and that's why it's burning as it's coming through the Earth's atmosphere. Well, we are above the Earth's atmosphere. So when we look down is when we would see shooting stars. So in that way, they're pretty in a different way than what you see when you're on the surface of the Earth.
Hello, my name is Reed Humelet, and I am in 5th grade. My question is, how long did it take you to get to the space station?
It took us in the Soyuz rocket about 6 hours. And it took us, once we launched from the Earth, it was about 8 minutes or so before we were in orbit around the Earth. And then we orbited the Earth doing burns of our jets to get closer and closer to the space station. And it was about 4 orbits around the Earth, and each one about 90 minutes. So it was about 6 hours, and we were here. So it was, a trip to Minneapolis and back, basically.
Hello, my name is Amanda Otto, and I am in 9th grade. My question is, what is the scariest part of being in space?
I'm sorry, can you say that one more time?
What is the scariest part of being in space?
The scariest part of being in space? Well, certainly, if you allow yourself to get scared, there's a lot that you could be scared of, I think. We are in a very dangerous environment, and I know anytime you're facing any danger, there's the reaction that you would like to get scared. But we get prepared very, very well for this, and we have a lot of preparations that we do that if we happen to have a leak in the space station, because this is protecting us from the vacuum of space where we could not survive without the space station around us. But so I think the key to being prepared and not being scared is to be prepared. And we go through a lot of emergency drills where we look at what we're going to do if, say, there's a fire on board, because we can't just leave the house like you would at home. And so the key is to be prepared. And there's really, if you're prepared, there's not a lot to be scared about.
Hello, my name is Brett Klein, and I am in 3rd grade. My question is it worth all the work to go to space?
That's a fantastic question, and I personally think it is. I think it's definitely worth it. I think that the things that we will get out of this, and not just the research that we're doing, this is just the exploring and the going away from home and doing things that make your mind sharper. And definitely space exploration is something that we not only get out of it, the scientific results, but also for our own human nature of wanting to explore, wanting to go further, and wanting to do more. So I personally think it is well worth the work that we do to get here.
Thank you for taking the time to answer our questions, Karen. Do you have any closing remarks for any of your friends and students back home here?
Thank you so much for joining me here. I'm really excited. I was excited when I saw this on the schedule that I was going to be able to join all of you. And you know, hopefully what I'm doing here, I hope I can inspire you and the kids there. You know, you guys are capable of so much, and it really is a matter of working your hardest and showing people that you have what it takes to do whatever your dream job is. And it doesn't have to be astronaut. It can be just about anything you want to do. And if you work at it and let people know that you're willing to work at it, you're going to go really far in your life. I'm so glad I was able to join you guys today.
Say goodbye.
Bye.
Bye-bye.
Station, this is Houston ACR. That concludes the event. Thank you.
Thank you, Henning School District. Station, we are now resuming operational audio communications.